The late Ross Ward was an artist who created a most unusual New Mexican tourist attraction, the Tinkertown Museum. Located on New Mexico's Turquoise Trail, it's a folk art environment built of recycled materials and wacky Western memorabilia. At the age of 57, Ross Ward was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's disease and passed away less than 5 years later. In our new one-on-one feature, NMIF producer Megan Kemrick sits down with his daughter Tanya Ward Goodman, author of Leaving Tinkertown, a tribute to her father and the journey through his diagnosis and subsequent death.
Tanya, anyone who's ever been to Tinkertown knows that your father lived out his creative vision with a fierce independence. Most of us sacrifice in our lives. That made your childhood very unconventional, which was great in many ways and also had some drawbacks. Was this memoir a way to figure out your history as well as your father's?
Yeah, I think it really was. I think it was figuring out what I can do. And it's funny that I realized I was a writer and I wanted to sort of take my own artistic, this is my place in the world. But the first thing that really hit was me writing about my dad. And that was always, it's a funny, I'm sort of treading a funny line there now, trying to be like, oh, here I am, Tanya Ward Goodman, the writer, about Tinkertown, because I think I was always, that was the thing I fell back on to make me interesting, was my dad. But at a certain point I thought, oh, there's more to me. But here I am, like, kind of coming into the world as a writer, writing about my dad, who is...
Yeah, you have some wonderful anecdotes about your childhood. How do you remember things like that with such clarity? I always wonder about that in memoirs. Was it the emotional impact that stuck
I think
with you?
the childhood anecdotes were really just the emotional impact. I mean, and I think I grew up in the mountains. There were almost no other friends that I had. I mean, any kid friends I had lived far away. We had to drive to their house. And so I was just spending most of the time with my dad. And he was my best friend. And so all my childhood memories, really, the super cemented ones, are about my dad.
I love the one when you're in some place. I mean, he loved going on the road. He was an old carnival guy. And you're in a restaurant somewhere and the waitress says, oh, Hoyt Axton's.
Oh, yes.
A couple tables, the country singer. And your dad said, well, you tell Hoyt Axton that Ms. Tanya Ward is at this table.
I know.
That's wonderful.
It was great. He was so, it always felt like I was in a parade with him. All his cars were painted up and decorated. He was always just, Mr. Flash. And so it felt like I was a little celebrity, even if I was just kicking around in shorts and paint-spattered legs,
Was his diagnosis of Alzheimer's part of your impetus to start documenting his life when he could still remember things?
Yeah, I think it was. And I started thinking, how do I pin this down? Because all those stories we really take for granted. And you hear them and you go, oh, yeah, I love that story.
I've heard it a million times.
Oh, blah, can you stop? I want to go do something else. But when he was diagnosed, I actually got a video camera because I thought, oh, I'll be a documentary filmmaker. And I realized very quickly that I'm not a filmmaker. I would forget to turn the battery on. I would lose the microphone. I would everything would be hazy. I was like, I'm not a film person, but I really am a writer. And so I just started asking him as many things as I could and writing them down and really trying to remember everything that I had and write it down, because I knew it would go away. And I really wanted to have that for my kids and that I didn't even have then, but for myself too and my family.
There's a part when you're talking to Ross, your dad, on the phone, you're following the progression of the disease. His mind wanders, he drifts off the phone, and you're there in Los Angeles,
right.
And you hear him pounding bottle caps on something on the museum.
Yes.
And you realize he's doing what he loves to do.
Yeah.
And you hope that eventually you can do that.
Yeah.
So how did witnessing him sort of reduced to those core elements of his existence impact you on your own journey?
I think it made me see his art was such a strong part of him that even at the very end, when he was living in an Alzheimer's facility, he was holding straws and things as if they were a paintbrush, and he was painting in the air. And his need to make a mark was so gigantic, and the sort of idea that he would just constantly make art, no matter what it was wow, how do I find that in myself? And I kind of had to take myself out of Tinkertown and out of his vision to kind of find my own. And this story, even though it's about him, is really it's my experience there and what it felt like for me, and to do that and sort of separate. I think it was a way of separating myself a little bit. But now I feel edgy if I don't write, and I get it. I don't think I got it as much as he did. I don't think and that's in a way good, because I can function and take the kids places and get people signed up for soccer and whatever. But I have that need to create and to make something, and I feel a little twitchy if I don't.
It's called Leaving Tinkertown, and you come back from Los Angeles to take care of him when he first gets the diagnosis, along with your stepmother and others. But eventually you realize you have to leave and pick up your own life.
Yeah.
And you do come back a lot.
I do.
But what was it like coming to terms with that decision? It's really tough for a caregiver.
Amazingly hard. And I think I came home really because it was the only thing I could think to do. Like, the diagnosis was so gigantic, it just shook my life apart, and I couldn't think of anything else, because up until that point I'd had boyfriends and people and whatever, but I hadn't had anything that was as steady and as certain as my relationship with my dad. And holy smokes, I have to go home, and my stepmother really needed help. I mean, she really was doing the bulk of the caretaking and the building all
museum.
I mean, God, she really was taking care of so many things. And I think when I came home, I didn't totally understand that. And it was surprising to me to just kind of pop into this world that she had really built. And at a certain point, I think it was partially their commitment to each other and the way that I saw their relationship as such a partnership and the way that it worked. And I realized, well, I am the daughter of my dad, and I have this very special relationship, but there's something else. You make a new family outside your family. Like, at a certain point, you have to move your campfire outside the circle and start your own, And I found this person who really proved to be a great partner and oh my gosh, like, I want to build something with this that is me and sort of our own space. And it was incredibly hard. It was really hard. It was at that point, my dad was he was really forgetting a lot, but it was incredibly hard to leave Carla, because she and I had really...
Your stepmother.
Yeah, we had made this team, and I felt like, oh God, I hate to disappoint people. And so I felt like...
I know that feeling.
And I really, I don't want to leave you in the lurch, but I have to go do this other thing. And
she was very understanding.
She was incredibly understanding. She's just a remarkable person.
You have this wonderful juxtaposition between your father's last days and the birth of your first child. It's bringing a symmetry of life and death. Did going through this journey with your father clarify what you want for your own life?
I think it did. I think I am much more willing to say yes to everything, because I realized with my dad, you just don't know how much time you have. Like, I don't know. And I think I wanted to have kids right away, because I felt like, I don't know if I'm going to forget, or maybe, who knows, a truck is going to run over me, or who knows. But I really wanted to share, like, my life with them and my family. And for me, every experience now, if somebody says, hey, do you want to go? My stepmother and I just hiked the Inca Trail, and she said, what do you think? You want to do that? I was like, yeah, like, yes, like, oh, I do. And I think that really changed me, because I think I was a little timid when I came home, and I didn't really know, and I kind of got stuck in little places, and I would just drift from one place to the next. It really made me sort of take charge of, hey, this is your life. You have this time, and you should do something with it.
That's totally the spirit of Tinkertown.
Yeah. It is.
Well, Tanya, thank you so much for
welcome.
talking with us about this book, and we're going to continue this on the web. We'll talk a little more discussion. Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.